Hey guys, what's going on? Steven back again. Sorry I sound so terrible, I am sick today. But I am back with another 40k video from the channel Nutbug. And the title of the video is 500 Worlds of Ultramar, History, Leaders, Military, and Space Marine Chapters. So I thought this would be a good follow-up video to the previous video of 500 Worlds, where we saw Titus get his promotion to Captain of the Second Company, and of course get that really cool updated model. So yeah, that's going to be very interesting going forward, seeing more of what his story is going to be, if it will take any effect into Space Marine 3. We got to follow Captain Titus in Space Marine 3, or... doubtful, but something new and different in Space Marine 3. I highly doubt Games Workshop will allow anything other than the Ultramarines to be in the spotlight. It's wishful thinking, you know what I mean. I thought it'd be kind of cool if Space Marine 3 elevates, I don't know, Blood Angels or something like that, and introduces like a new character that we follow, and then Games Workshop can market that and deck out a really cool new model for that, but doubtful. We'll just have to wait and see. So anyways, let's get on to the video, shall we? Here we go.
So Ultramar was a vast interstellar realm in the eastern fringe of the galaxy. It was ruled and protected by the Ultramarines Legion, and then by the chapter after the Horus Heresy. The realm in its maximum extent was originally forged by the Primarch Roboute Guilliman during the Great Crusade era. Ultramar was not just a military and political dominion, but also a model of order, prosperity, and civilization amidst a galaxy in turmoil, in chaos. Life there was considered to be way better than in most worlds of the Imperium.
Oh, really?
In its maximum extent or expanse, it encompassed over 500 human worlds, and so it was collectively known as the 500 Worlds of Ultramar, all unified under Guilliman's strict yet benevolent governance. Each world here contributed to the strength of the whole, forming a self-sustaining empire of industry, agriculture, and defense that rivaled even that of the planets near Terra. And so here in this video, we will explore the history, reformation, and military strength of the 500 Worlds of Ultramar. Let's get to it. Its past was rich and diverse. Before Guilliman's arrival, the region that would become Ultramar was a fragmented cluster of human-settled worlds that were left scarred by the Age of Strife, which to many of you that know and follow 40k intimately would know it as a dark time when the warp storms cut off planets from each other and civilizations regressed. This was due to the prior devastation following the Dark Age of technology, the rise of the Iron Men, or the Men of Iron, and the Cybernetic Revolt, and then by the birth of Slanesh, the fourth Chaos God, from the decadence and the depravity of the Eldari race.
Good job, Eldar.
Despite this isolation, the world of Macragge, Ultramar's future capital, endured better than most. Its people maintained discipline, order, and even short-range space travel, which allowed them some limited contact with neighboring systems. And all this changed when Guilliman arrived in his stasis pod. So long before the Emperor's arrival, Roboute Guilliman had already transformed Macragge from a fractured post-Strife world into the heart of a flourishing interstellar civilization. Guilliman reorganized Macragge into a model society which is based on merit, efficiency, and justice. With his industry thriving and his military reform into a professional and disciplined force, he began to establish contact with nearby human-settled systems that had survived the Age of Strife. And through diplomacy, trade, and calculated military campaigns, he unified these worlds under a single banner, forming the foundation of what became known as Ultramar, as the 500 Worlds of Ultramar. Well, more or less. Each of the worlds under this realm was encouraged to govern itself efficiently, while adhering to Guilliman's strict laws and principles of cooperation and order, creating a network of prosperous, self-sufficient planets bound by loyalty and shared prosperity. By the time of the Emperor's arrival, his fleets reaching the eastern fringe, Guilliman had already forged Ultramar into a stable, enlightened, and powerful realm, a shining example, a beacon of what the Imperium of Man could have been at its best. Now, after the Horus Heresy and devastating civil war, including the Great Scouring that tore the Imperium apart and many sections of the realm of Ultramar, Roboute Guilliman recognized that the age of vast, semi-independent space marine empires had to come to an end. The Heresy had shown the dangers of such concentrated power. The legions, once loyal, had become potential kingdoms unto themselves. Determined to prevent a repeat of this tragedy, Gilman enacted sweeping reforms during the time of rebirth. In accordance with the Emperor's vision of mankind's governance, he decreed that the Space Marines would no longer directly rule vast civilian territories. Instead, Ultramar's worlds were to be granted autonomy under imperial law, governed by their own human administrations, their governors, and only answerable to the wider Imperium rather than the Astartes. Many of these planets were reorganized into imperial subsectors or granted self-rule while maintaining close cultural ties and defensive ones with Macragge.
That's pretty cool that they
And
got
as part of
mostly like
Gilman's
their
reformation,
independence.
the Ultramarines Legion itself, like all others, were divided into numerous smaller successor chapters, following the guidelines of the Codex Astartes. Each new chapter was given a home world or a protectorate drawn from the old realm of Ultramar, forming what became known as the Ultramarine Second Founding. Worlds such as Prandium, Talsar, and Espander were among those retained within the core worlds of Ultramar, while others were placed under the guardianship of the newly created chapters like the Genesis chapter, Nova Marines, Aurora chapter, and the Sons of Aurora.
Nova
These
Marines,
chapters
they're pretty
inherited
cool.
both the traditions and duty to defend their assigned regions, extending Gilman's ideals across the stars while decentralizing military authority. And over time, Ultramar itself stabilized as a subsector of 13 key worlds, which were later commonly referred to as 11, all centered around Macragge. This restructured realm served as both a symbolic and a practical model for imperial governance as a balance between autonomy, loyalty, and vigilance. So at the heart of this Ultramar subsector of 11 worlds lies the Macragge system, consisting of 6 key worlds, with Macragge being the home world of the Ultramarines, Novathilium, an agri world, Ardium, a hive world, Thilium, a death world, Laphis, a revered shrine world, and Mortender, a heavily fortified bastion world, a fortress world.
What's a shrine
Neighboring
world?
Talos' system also held 6 planets of strategic and economic importance, including Thalassa Prime, which is home to the Death Watch Fortress, Thalassa Secundus, a hive world, Thalassa Tertius, an industrial hub, Uldregor, an agri world, Donark, a feudal world, and Phalanx Reach, another fortress world.
Okay, so very interesting. That's all split up into
3
systems
large
as well.
agri worlds, Masali, Quinton, and Tarentus, alongside the formidable Eucladus Starford. In the Viridia system are the planets Kalt, now a devastated death world, Lamani, a mining world, Ravishal, an industrial world, and Iskara, a thriving civilized world, and then the Viridia Forge, which is just a Mechanicus mining outpost which is carved into an asteroid belt. Beyond these lay the remaining bastions of Ultramar's strength, 9 other systems, namely Espandor, Ajax, Circe, Prandium, Conor, Droll, Tarvan, Dalasar, and Parmenio. But all this changed when Roberto Gilman was resurrected in the late 41st millennium. After more than 10,000 years in stasis, he returned to a galaxy that was vastly changed, fractured by the Great Rift, teeming with chaos and burdened by stagnation and superstitions. During his earlier reforms after the Horus Heresy, he had deliberately reduced Ultramar's official borders to prevent the Space Marines from becoming rulers over humanity again. But now, seeing the Imperium crumbling and chaos encroaching from the nearby Scourge stars, he realized his restraint had been a grave mistake. Determined to restore order and strength, Gilman re-established the ancient Tetrarch Council of Ultramar, appointing new Tetrarchs, and his goal was nothing less than to reclaim all the systems that had once made up the legendary 500 worlds of Ultramar, restoring them to unity and strength under his governance. And by the time of the Plague Wars, Ultramar had already expanded to nearly 3/4 of its pre-heresy size, but not without resistance. And this is where the timeline of Titus as the captain of the Second Company intersects, from the trailer of the 500 Worlds, at a point in time where he also becomes the Warden of Ultramar, which is kind of like a dual responsibility for the captain of the Second of the Ultramarines. Now in the present era, Ultramar is divided into 5 great regions known as Tetrarchies, which are North, South, East, West, and Center. The Northern Tetrarchy is centered in Conor and is ruled by Severus Agamen, the first captain of the Ultramarines. To the south lies the Southern Tetrarchy, governed by the Chapter Master of the Genesis Chapter, a successor chapter of the Ultramarines. The Western Tetrarchy is based on Protoss and is commanded by the Chapter Master of the Doom Eagles. In the east, Decimus Felix, a Primaris Ultramarine and former equerry of Guilliman, rules from Vespator, the reformed capital of the once proud Sotharan League. And at the Ultramar's core lies the Central Tetrarchy, governed directly from Macragge under the regency of the Chapter Master Marneus Calgar, which encompasses the heartlands of Ultramar. As of the 42nd millennium, the governance and the defense of Ultramar are overseen by a council of powerful leaders. At the top, the pinnacle, stands Robert Guilliman, the Primarch of the Ultramarines and Master of Macragge. Oh, and the Lord Regent of the Imperium. Serving beneath him here is Marneus Galga, Lord of Macragge, Lord Defender of Greater Ultramar, and the Chapter Master of the Ultramarines. Acting as the Regent of Ultramar and Tetrarch of Konor, Severus Agaman ensures Guilliman's will is enacted across Ultramar's many worlds. The other Tetrarchs, Podon of Andamung, Balthus of Protoss, and Decimus Felix of Vespator, each govern vast sectors of Ultramar. Supporting this structure is Cato Sicarius, serving as the High Suzerain of Ultramar, while Titus has now become the Warden of Ultramar, safeguarding its borders and enforcing Guilliman's decrees. Now, regarding its defense and military, here we come to the Ultramar Auxilia, which serves as the planetary defense force of the realm of Ultramar, and stands as the first line of defense for its Guilliman's decrees. Now, regarding its defense and military, here we come to the Ultramar Auxilia, which serves as the planetary defense force of the realm of Ultramar, and stands as the first line of defense for its many...
Okay, I was thrown off because I'm like, that armor looks pretty badass, not gonna lie. So the Auxilia, that's pretty cool. I like how modern Roman they look. And I do like, they got the, the Ultramar symbol, on their armor as well. So, gee, it kind of seems like even being like, well, I mean, a guardsman on this planet, granted, I don't know how they treat other guardsmen, this is just the Auxilia, so I don't know if there's different levels and stuff like that, but it seems kind of pretty impressive, like, how well, like, it seems they're taken care of. Obviously they're there to defend the planet, so of course you want them to be well armored and well geared if they're defending your planet. You don't want to be like, oh, we lost your planet, oops, but still, that is very impressive, and the blue and gold looks pretty badass.
Worlds, all under the guidance and the supervision of the Ultramarines. Each planet within Ultramar is pushed to maintain its own auxiliary regiments, trained to standards far exceeding those of typical Imperial PDF forces, and also rivaling the Imperial Guard. Thus, discipline, loyalty, and tactical prowess defines the Ultramar Auxilia. These soldiers are not conscripts but dedicated citizens who view service as both an honor and a duty to Ultramar's greater unity.
More trained than regular
While Ultramar
guards,
is officially exempted from the Imperium's manpower tides, its Auxilia still fields numerous regiments that have fought beyond the subsector, often serving alongside the Ultramarines in major campaigns across the galaxy. This combination of independence, professionalism, and devotion to duty has made the Ultramar Auxilia one of the most...
I wonder what the Ultramarines think of them. Because obviously some Space Marine chapters, don't really, look down upon, guardsmen and stuff like them. So I wonder what the relationship with the Ultramarines and the Auxilia is like. Do they kind of like have some respect for them, or are they just still kind of like, it is what it is, kind of interesting.
Respected and effective planetary defense organizations made the galaxy. This combination of independence, professionalism, and devotion to duty has made the Ultramar Auxilia one of the most respected and effective planetary defense organizations in the Imperium. On Macragge, the Auxilia is further supported by an elite youth organization known as the Juventia, which is composed of adolescent males rigorously trained in discipline, survival, and combat. The Juventia serves as both as Macragge's final line of defense and as a proving ground for future auxiliary recruits,
so
though not all who train within its ranks are accepted into full service. Their exceptional conditioning and martial discipline also makes them ideal candidates for Astartes selection, and many Ultramarines aspirants are chosen from their numbers. In terms of equipment, the Auxilia are well supplied and standardized, wearing layered mesh and Kevlar uniforms in planetary environments and armored environment suits aboard starships and orbital platforms, such as the Ramley Star Forts, and typically colored in Ultramar's signature sky blue and gold. The result is a defense force that exemplifies Guilliman's ideals of self-sufficient, military-capable, and a civic-minded human society. But then, in the void of space, is where we find the Ultramar Defense Fleet, which is the system's defense and void warfare arm of the Ultramar Defense Auxilia, and forms the shield that guards the realm. Unlike the fleets of the Adeptus Astartes, the Ultramar Defense Fleet is manned and commanded by the citizens of Ultramar, all trained to uphold the same ideals of duty, efficiency, and discipline, with the Commodore being
you just
an
imagine looking up
Ultramarian
and
named
just seeing
Gaia Silva. Operating from
all
powerful
those
shipyards like
ships in the
from
sky?
Macragge,
That'd
Calth,
be
and Viridia, the
insane.
fleet fields a wide range of vessels from agile escorts to patrol crafts to formidable heavy cruisers, which are capable of independent operations. And throughout its long history, the Ultramar Defense Fleet has stood shoulder to shoulder with the Ultramarines in some of the most harrowing wars of the Imperium's eastern reaches. It played a vital role during the Battle of Macragge, where its ships fought desperately against the High Fleet behemoth. Later,
Oh,
the
that
fleet
must have
fought
been
during the War
one
of Smith
hell of a battle.
Ponsel's invasion of Ultramar, engaging the Iron Warriors' corrupted warships and traitor fleets in brutal void battles. In the Ultramar campaign that followed Guilliman's resurrection, the defense fleet once again rose to prominence, coordinating with the Indomitus Crusade fleets to push chaos incursions from Ultramar's star systems. Most recently during the Plague Wars, its ships provided orbital support and blockade operations against Mortaran's Death God, proving very essential in keeping the realm of Ultramar supplied and defensible amidst the horrors of Nurgle's invasions. Last but not least, we arrive to the SHIELD chapters of the realm of Ultramar, which are these coalition of 10
SHIELD
Space Marine chapters permanently stationed within the realm of Ultramar following the end of the Plague Wars. This formation was decreed by Roboute Guilliman himself, who sought to ensure that Ultramar, which is now reconstituted as the 500 Worlds, would forever remain a bastion of imperial order and military strength amidst the turmoil of the 42nd millennium. These chapters...
So it kind of seems like if one of the other videos I did, like what if Terra was lost, it seems like a good fallback spot would clearly be here. I mean, it seems very well defended, organized. Yeah, this seems like it would just be like the new hub of the Imperium from what it sounds like, you know. I mean, obviously, if Terra was ever lost, yeah, it seems like that would be a really good fallback position to go to, you know.
Are all descendants of the Ultramarines gene line, which means they are successor chapters, and they serve as both guardians and instruments of vengeance, protecting the realm of Ultramar, and collectively, they have a standing force of approximately 10,000 Astartes. Each
Wow.
chapter here fulfills a vital role, and these chapters
pretty
in name
impressive.
are the Ultramarines, of course, the Avenging Sons, the Sons of the Emperor, the Praetors of Ultramar, the Sons of Auror, the Nova Marines, the Doom Eagles, the Aquiline Brotherhood, the Silver Skulls, and newly
Old
founded
picture,
Reborn,
man.
and together they form a network of vigilance and retribution, which embodies Guilliman's vision of a united, fortified, and eternal Ultramar. And so with that, we come to the end of this video on the 500 Worlds of Ultramar, its history, its reformation, its organization, its leadership, its military strength, the reclamation of the 500 Worlds, and the Space Marine chapters, which are responsible for its protection. Now, do hit the like button for support, and also for the ones holding their phones in their hands, do press hide.
That sounds like it's an interesting video. I'm gonna have to do that one next. The 8 Chaos Space Marines who repented and redeemed. Interesting. Yeah, so there we go. Wow. 500 Worlds of Ultramar. That was pretty impressive. You know, hearing about how fractured it was before Guilliman came around, and then when Guilliman came around and put everything back together again, and, you know, gave the planets their independence and stuff like that, makes sense that he would be the first Primarch to return and, you know, basically handle the Imperium. You know, he can be the glue to hold everything together. But yeah, that was very interesting. I really like the Auxilia Force and stuff like that. That sounded pretty badass, and seeing how well geared and armored and stuff like that they are, you know, that is pretty impressive. You know, hearing how they're more trained than regular guardsmen and stuff like that, yeah, that's pretty cool. And, you know, the 10,000 Space Marines that, you know, defend it and stuff like that. Wow. But yeah, that sounds like one hell of a, whatever you want to call it, sector, if you will. You know, like I said from that other video, if Holy Terror was ever lost, I was thinking, you know, like, go to Mars, you know, right next door, because you got to defend Mars, because that's where all, you know, a lot of your equipment's made, so you want to defend that. But obviously that is a priority. You want to obviously defend Mars if Terra was ever lost. But yeah, Ultramar seems like it would be a a great new hub for the Imperium to rally against, you know. But yeah, this was actually a really cool video. You know, I like this one a lot. So yeah, definitely gotta check out more videos from this channel here. I'm definitely interested in that one there. The 8 Chaos Space Marines who repented and redeemed, because that is interesting. How do you repent, and how do you get redeemed? You know, like how do you? I don't know. That's just very interesting. Like, how can you come back to that? Like you can't, I don't know, like you can't join like another Space Marine chapter or something like that, can you? Like you know, what if a Plague Marine or something like that was like, I am sorry, I want to repent and stuff like that, like because of how grotesque and nasty and disgusting they are. You can't be like, cool, you're gonna go join this chapter now. Like, what happens? You know, what happens on something like that? Like, go on like a redeeming crusade, you know, kill as many enemies of the Imperium until you die, you know, like, I don't know, like, what happens in something like that? That's very interesting. So, yeah, definitely looking forward to checking out that video as well. But, yeah, this was really cool, and once again, Captain Titus, that is awesome, and of course, his new badass model. So, yeah. So, there we go. There's the video. Let me know what you guys think about the 500 Worlds of Ultramar. Did you know? I did not know about all those little subsectors and stuff like that. So, that was very new to me. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Leave me all your thoughts and comments down below. And other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, hit that thumbs up button. That'd be awesome. Remember, feel free to subscribe to my channel. And of course, if there's any videos you guys want me to check out, let me know down below in the comment section, and I'll be happy to make a video on it. So other than that, just stick around. More videos are on the way, and I will see you guys next time.